don't know me or who've never been here before, welcome. My name's Rachel. I'm the owner of the Eclectic Cottage here in Spokane, Washington. Happy Friday. I hope you're having a great week so far. I know mine is definitely looking up because I'm finally feeling better, which is nice. So if you caught my last video, you probably saw that I started coming down with a pretty severe head cold on Valentine's Day, and it knocked me for a loop for the better part of last week. I didn't really start feeling better until Saturday, Sunday, and then my husband got it. And so needless to say, we did not go on a junk run on Sunday, so I didn't have a thrift haul for you for today. And I was kind of scrambling, trying to figure out what I was going to do. I'm still suffering a little bit from a little bit of a lack of energy, and so I knew I wasn't going to be able to get a lot done, but I decided to pull. I had a little 2-tier table I got a few weeks ago on one of our junk runs, and so I grabbed it and I gave it kind of a neutral paint job, and then I dressed it up some with some transfers, and it turned out really cute. So that is going to be today's video. I'm calling it my miniature furniture flip for today, and I hope you like it. And if you do, please remember to give my video a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of what I've got going on here in my kitchen at the cottage, please remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the little notification bell, and that will let you know when I upload new content. I normally try to stick to Tuesdays and Fridays, barring any unforeseen sicknesses that might come along. But for the most part, that's usually what I try to do, is Tuesdays and Fridays. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. And here is that table makeover. So as with most projects, the very first step is making sure that it's clean. And so I grabbed my crud cutter and gave it a good spray down with that, and then took my shop towel and wiped that back. And then I followed it up with a mister bottle and some clean water, just to make sure that none of the residue from that crud cutter was left behind. Once my little table is all clean and dry, I go in and start painting. And for this piece, I decided to use Sweet Pickins Milk Paint. The color is called Truffle, which is very appropriate. It reminded me a lot of a mushroom color. And I am giving it 3 coats of paint, letting it dry nice and thoroughly in between coats. And if you've never used milk paint, it's kind of interesting. It comes in a powder form, and you just add equal amounts of paint to warm water. I use an immersion blender to mix mine, just to try and get rid of all the chunks that are in it. And I really like the way it comes out. It kind of gives the piece a little bit of almost like an eggshell finish. So once it's all dry, I took it outside in the 4-degree temperatures and started sanding. So I'm just using here is my rotary sander with some 220 grit sandpaper, and I followed that up and just distressed the legs a little bit with some 150 by hand. And once that's done, I took it inside, just wiped it down really good to make sure all the sanding dust was gone. And so that I could use transfers on it. Now with milk paint, you do not need to seal it before you put transfers down, because it is really quite hard once it's dry, especially after it's been sanded. So I had these pieces of this transfer set left, and I really wanted to use them on something. And so I figured they would make a really good little border around the bottom of this table. Excuse me. And so I cut part of them off because they were a little bit too long, and I set the pieces aside, and I decided I would use them going the other direction, which you'll see here in a second. But transfers are super simple. You just place them down where you want them. You rub the transfer stick on them, and you peel back that plastic piece as you go, making sure that all your transfer is adhering well to your piece. And you pull that plastic back, and then you can use that to burnish your transfer in, and then you're done. So here you can see I'm just using those little leftover pieces to make the rest of the border. And I really like how that turned out. I'm so glad I was able to use up those pieces of this transfer set. So I'm cutting one more piece out so that I can use some flowers for the top. Now this transfer set is called Painted Florals. It's by Redesign by Prima. It is definitely one of my favorites of theirs. And I'm just really happy. I set the other 3 flowers that I had left aside. They're going to go on another project, and then I will have used every last scrap of this transfer set, which is awesome. So here I am just putting one big flower in one corner, and then I followed that with 2 smaller flowers in this corner. And the nice thing about transfers is you can layer them over one another. So I put the first one down, and then I just put the second one over it, and then burnish them both in, and then that's done. The final step is sealing the paint, and for that I'm using Sweet Pickins oil wax in white and a chip brush, and I'm simply dipping the chip brush into the oil wax and just putting a nice coat of that oil wax all over the piece. Once it's on, you let it set for 20 minutes or so, and then just come back with your shop towel or clean cloth and wipe all of the excess oil wax back off. I always like to wear gloves for this because it is a little sticky and messy. And then this piece is finished. What did you guys think of the little table transformation? I hope you liked it. I know it wasn't a lot of projects or a big project, but at least it was something I managed to get done. So I would love to hear what you thought of it in the comments below, and I am hoping you will catch me on Tuesday. I am working on some projects for Tuesday's video, and I'm really hoping going forward I will be back into my normal routine of Tuesdays and Fridays. So fingers crossed that that's what happens. Anyway, have a great weekend, and I will see you back here on Tuesday. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.